So we begin this journey of Lent, the first Sunday of Lent. Lent means spring, time for conversion, spring cleaning, renewal, weather's getting better. The church asks us to focus on three areas of prayer, fasting, almsgiving. And yet, I don't know. I don't have the research on this one, but in my opinion, I think about half of us make some kind of a Lenten goal, right? And of the half of that actually achieve their Lenten goal, right? And I think, backing up a little bit, Lent actually started with Ash Wednesday, but which one is more important? Ash Wednesday or first Sunday of Lent? Like, if you put another way, if you had to choose one out of the two to go, which one is more important?
Sunday.
First Sunday of Lent? But you went to Ash Wednesday too? Yeah? Ash Wednesday is not a holy day of obligation, just FYI, right? Sundays is a holy day of obligation, right? So if you had to choose, most of you went to both, but if you had to choose, you should go to this one. But why is it that so many of us go to Ash Wednesday? And not necessarily at this parish, but many of my other previous parishes, much bigger, a lot more people. It's like people come out of the woodworks. Line and line, even after the service, they just, is it because the church is giving you something? Like go to the baseball game, there's a bobblehead night, they get free t-shirt, you get the ashes, and everybody wants the ashes, and even after the service, they're like, oh, hey, Father, can I get some to go? Do you have a little bag? What am I, like a drug dealer? What is this? And then we all get the ashes, and then we got to show off and take photos, all these things, right? That's a great start, Ash Wednesday. Where are they on first Sunday of Lent? Well, I got my ashes. Well, that's great. Did you know it's not a holy obligation, right? And it got to a point where one of my previous parishes, I said, you know what? I'm so happy that you're on Ash Wednesday. Why don't you come first Sunday of Lent? I'll give you more ashes. Second Sunday, more ashes. It's very cheap. Doesn't cost me anything, Third, come Easter Sunday to give you more ashes. Well, no, we already got our ashes. So it's not about the ashes. It's about transformation. It's about change. Lent, right? Yet, it's very difficult for us. And if you think about why it's so difficult for us to kind of observe our Lenten practices of prayer, fasting, almsgiving, well, the readings today kind of hint towards that, right? And that's why it's in the first Sunday of Lent, right? Starts with the letter T. Temptation, right? You heard the first reading, the serpent, even Jesus, the Son of God. Do you think he was tempted? No, because he's God. He's the Son of God. Let me read you again. At that time, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. So even the Son of God was tempted and faced temptation, right? But many of us are like, oh, no, I have no temptations. I got my ashes. I'm good. Well, that's foolish because even Jesus was tempted, right? And I think, how do we deal with temptation? Or what do we do, right? In the Lord's Prayer, we say, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Well, we have to recognize when are the times that we are actually led into temptation. And there's a psychological term, acronym, which I want to share with you. I think these are the times when we're most weak, susceptible to be led into temptation, led to the desert. It's a four-letter acronym, HALT, HALT, which means when have I been hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, right? Go back to the gospel. What's the first temptation that Jesus faces? Hunger, right? And the devil kind of knows that and hints towards that. It says, hey, if you are the Son of God, command that these stones become loaves of bread. And Jesus recognizes the hunger, the temptation, and is able to respond. One does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes forth from the mouth of God. I want us to think about what are the times, or what are some of our triggers? Is it when you're hungry? Is it when you're angry? Is it when you're lonely? Is it when you're tired? So, when's the last time you were hungry? Maybe Ash Wednesday, right? Or maybe Friday, right? But it's kind of like the Snickers commercial, right? It says, "You're not you when you are hungry," right? One of my good friends, they're so happy. They have a baby, 3 months old. They've been praying and had some difficulties, but now they finally have a baby. So happy, and the baby's so cute, and just very, very calm, chill baby, if you want to call it. Low maintenance for the most part, right? Just doesn't cause a fit. Just sits there, just a little cute little baby. But if you miss the feeding time, and when the baby's hungry, this one turns into a monster. Right? Just so irritable, right? And I was there with them, and then like the bottle, like sometimes the baby didn't finish the bottle, right? So the dad took the bottle away, and the kid's like, it just like turns into a monster when you're hungry, right? Some of us, hunger is the trigger that leads us into temptation, right? And oftentimes it leads to a sin of gluttony or greed. Or when's the last time you were angry? Or hungry and angry, which is called hangry, right? In our lives, we are not defined by one action. One action does not define who we are as a person. Yet, some of us make some big mistakes in that one action, right? When I go visit the jails, they're all wonderful people, I think, but they made some wrong decisions, wrong time. And oftentimes, it was due to anger, right? We say in our Christian lives, when you're in a state of desolation, when you are angry, don't make any decisions, especially life-altering changes or decisions, right? I know, for me, when I deal with angry parents or angry faculty or angry people or even angry neighbors, the kids park on the streets, sometimes I can visibly see like they get all red and the veins start popping out, and I say, please calm down. That's the last thing you want to say. Please calm down to an angry person, right? But oftentimes, when we are angry, that leads us into temptation, leads us into things that we end up regretting later on, right? Or how do you react when you are lonely, right? Some people just can't sit still and be alone. You always have to be with somebody, be bombarded with music, and always have headphones and watching something on social media, right? Other people, whether you are single or married or have 7 kids or 20 grandkids, loneliness is a real thing. And I think when we're lonely, a lot of us are led into temptation, especially the temptation of maybe being in despair, lust or envy, things like that. And we just got to be aware, right? Or when's the last time, or how do you react when you're tired? When you're tired, so many of us are busy, and I don't know how some of the parents do it, because you got to take care of the kids, and you got to take care of your own parents, and still got to be a good person, still got to be a good husband, good wife, good father, good son, good daughter, all those things combined. And sometimes it's not sustainable, but we got to be aware of the times that we are tired. And oftentimes when we're tired, we shut down or fall into the sin of sloth. So when actually thinking about tired, because that's the one that I fall into, if I think of the HALT, that's the one that I fall into. This one I do have research on. If you're going to get a surgery, whether it's minor or a big surgery, and if the doctor gave you a choice, would you like the surgery to be in the morning, a.m., or in the afternoon, p.m.? Which one should you choose? Morning. Yeah. Surgeons are human beings. There's going to be more complications, more likely, in the afternoon, right? Except Monday morning, because they're partying all weekend and they're tired Monday morning, right? When we're tired, we are not ourselves as well, right? And I know that for me, when I have appointments and difficult issues that I have to deal with and people that I have to deal with, I'm much better in the morning, right? But in the afternoon, when I'm tired, I get cranky, and it's just like, oh, I've heard that before. Oh, here we go, So I have to watch myself. Those are the times that I am led into the desert, led into temptation, right? So sometimes I just take a little 10-minute break just to, to prepare myself, or just stop by the chapel and say a little prayer. But for us, I want us to think about season of Lent, prayer, fasting, almsgiving, time for conversion, time for change. Yet it's very difficult because we are led to temptation, led into the desert. Jesus himself was led by the Spirit into the desert. But we just got to be aware. When we say, lead us not into temptation, think about what are the circumstances or environment or the situation that does lead me into the desert, right? And think about the acronym HALT, H-A-L-T. Is it when I'm hungry that I'm led to temptation? Is it when I'm angry and into temptation? Is it when I'm lonely? Is it when I'm tired? Maybe it's all of them. Pick one, right? And just recognizing and being aware makes a huge difference. And when you are aware, that's where we need to rely on Jesus and ask God to help us to really be focused and continue in this Lenten journey.